You ever played Stalker? I have, once, when I was not very large. All I remember from that was leaving the intro village alone and getting instantly executed on Facebook Live by a group of ruffians. I can't imagine this will be much different in the long run. I'm doing this because I recorded a blank screen for the first 45 minutes. And I'm not editing a preamble about how I'm an idiot and I don't know how to turn OBS on or check any of the settings. So I'm just going to do this instead. Nothing happened anyway. The titular Stalker character wakes up from a truck full of dead bodies, can't remember anything. You've got a PDA which says kill S.T.A.L.K.E.R. You don't know who S.T.A.L.K.E.R is. Wow, amazing. You talk to the merchant from Zelda, except he's Slavic. You kill some guys, you walk 30 miles, and then here, where I actually started taking footage. It's at this point I began learning about the unique gunplay. So at least for the early game weapons, accuracy is an alien concept. No matter how well maintained the gun is, you have to imagine the muzzle of each gun as the end of a tuba. Bullets just go wherever the fuck they feel like. Also, headshots are almost universally a one shot, but good luck hitting a head, which means we're in the 10 to 20 body shots per guy gang. If you're close enough and click fast enough though, headshots aren't that difficult, it just eats all your ammo. And after a couple of tries I got the hang of it and cleared out this chump gallery. And now it's time to head to a place called the Garbage. Good start. At least it'll let me take my corpse back safely. So it turns out an enemy patrol is literally sitting on top of the loading zone for this area. The only loading zone, might I add. Shooting seemed to be unwise, so I just ran eventually, which worked until I ran into a localized tornado, which I escaped. And then ran into another one, and then escaped. And then ran into another one. Yep. So a defining feature of the zone, which is the area you're in, are anomalies, which are these, or sometimes they're just crushing machines, or sometimes they light you on fire, sometimes it's just the old green mile treatment. Anyway, there's a shootout in this junkyard, and a guy called Bez tells you that all the big shit piles scattered around are extremely radioactive. I thought because this is early that might be an exaggeration, and they were just normal, slightly glowing radioactive, but no, they're full-on hydrogen bomb radioactive. And that fucks you up when your equipment consists of 20 bandages or a crappy sawn-off shotgun. Oh, and your costume's made of cardboard. Why would I care about exploring these giant shit piles, you might ask? Artifacts. Magic rocks that spawn in anomalies. These are worth a lot of money. And you can equip them for abilities which, for the most part, are completely hilariously useless. Not to mention the 8 different varieties of cancer you get with them, but magic, woo, I'm 2% more resistant to penis. I save a few stragglers from 500 bandits for information on S.T.A.L.K.E.R, and they tell me that actually they were just pretending to have information on S.T.A.L.K.E.R, and the real S.T.A.L.K.E.R lore keeper is a mole. Following the running theme, I move on to another abandoned building where a small group of losers need me, a man so heroic he can't even remember his own name, to save him from the military. I go in expecting more of the same, guys in hoods with pistols. But turns out there's a skill gap between edgy trenchcoat bandits and the military, like training and weapons and armour and aim. So I get demolished. But on the plus side, after killing a couple with my pea shooter, I can take their Kalashnikovs, and the quality of life improvement provided by one rifle is staggering. Grenades too. Every cunt has a grenade on them, so after 10 kills you're basically demo man. Eventually I save Mole, who's unfortunately not a blind digging rodent, though he may as well be given how fucking useless he was, and he shows me to a tunnel 3 feet away. The military will never find you here, comrade. We walked no distance whatsoever, you can't be serious. But he is serious. He also conveniently neglects to tell you that they're infested with bandits and mutants. There's a stash in there with an obscenely fast-firing AK in it. I missed the critical mission objective there, but I don't want to go back. I shit myself fighting a ghost. What the fuck? Got psychic jump scared. And fled out a ladder. Now, I have not been deep reading all the mission objectives. In fact, I've barely been reading them at all. But going back over them, I needed to enter the military compound, collect some yummy documents, and hand them over at a stalker hub called the Bar in the middle of the zone. Now they recommend going into this military compound at night. It's far less active, there's less guards, even though that's what everyone would want to sneak in. And you should sneak in through the tunnel. What tunnel? What tunnel are you talking about? Oh yeah, the tunnel that Mole just sent you down to escape the military. So I jump out of this tunnel at the sun's zenith, every Green Beret dickhead in the area chases me through this compound. They immediately sound the Blitzkrieg alarm. Chaos. It's around this time I'm learning just how fucking useless every sidearm in the game is. But this new assault rifle that I definitely did not earn gets me through. And I leave with 2 pieces of paper and 47 Soviet ghosts following me. Though I did get stuck just outside the building for ages because there was one heavily guarded exit and I was not going back through the stinky monster tunnels. I love how they're just standing in a conga line. Back to the garbage. Cool pistol shot to redeem it for the first and only time. And as I travel north to hand in my papers, I get a message. A horde of mutants is moving in the direction of the bar. Anyone who helps us stop the monsters will not regret it. So I run there, excruciatingly slowly, terrified of what might await me. How many hundreds of mutants must there be in a horde that these guys can't take them on? I arrive to see them killing all of the mutants. So I think, okay, no big deal, they dealt with it before I got here. They maybe exaggerated a little bit. You know, maybe Boy Who Cried Wolf, there's about 3 boars there. You are rubbish, Marked One. Totally useless. Don't expect gratitude. There's nothing to thank you for. I wasn't even there. Yeah, so I'm loading a save to prove them wrong and actually get there in time. So 30 to 50 wild hogs charge over the horizon. Kill about 5 of them myself. And I'm not that quick on the draw. What does that make you, huh? Fucking Johnny No Hands. I leave disappointed and upset and head up to the bar. It's cozy in here. They've got one song by Latvian Celine Dion on repeat, but better than nothing. The doorman shouts at you for no reason as well. Barkeep takes the documents, doesn't pay me even close to enough for the amount of work I put in. Then immediately sends me, a man with no name that he just met, to retrieve another set of documents from a dangerous military lab. Lovely. At least he gave me some actual body armor. Didn't realise that was an option. I've been running through bullets wearing a shitty 30 ruble leather jacket. Other than that, only interesting thing is the merchant from Resident Evil 4 trying to extort 4,000 rubles out of you for information. Have you learnt nothing? I don't read text boxes when they're free, why would I pay? Went back to Cordon, which is the starting village, to hand in some missions, which was an enormous waste of time, and then it was back to the main event. Documents. Ambush some hooded delinquents with a duty member, and get a gun binoculi in exchange. I'm liking these duty guys. I've not really got a choice right enough since they own the bar and have checkpoints and goons everywhere. But they're giving me shit. Scope makes these bandits really easy and I clear the Scorcher's warehouse and secure the keycard for the document storage bunker building place. The leader had an upgraded capacity pistol which excited me at first, but like I said before, every situation where you think using a pistol is a good idea, it is not. Do not even consider it. They are paperweights. So around this time my hoarding started getting out of hand. I have barely any stamina and it might have something to do with my insistence on carrying 5 guns, 700 bullets, 5 boar's feet, 11 grenades, 9 loaves of bread, 6 tins of spam, 10 medkits, 30 anti-radiation pills, 26 bandages and 6 bottles of vodka. That doesn't stop me though, because in my head I need all these supplies. What if I need to run a small colony? So I head down into the science basement at last, taking the entire contents of my armory and fridge on a wee holiday. Oh yeah, and I found an RPG. No way I wasn't taking that, so at this point I weigh as much as a Fiat Panda, and move about as quickly. With the snorks gone, yep, that is what they are actually called, I kill myself in the fire jets a few times before I realise I can throw rocks into them, and then make my way for a mile of metal grated bunker before the earthquake burp appeared. There it is, a claymation looking internal bleeding fella which can survive a point blank RPG. I didn't quick save, so that's another 3-minute walk. I eat every loaf of bread in my inventory and start crossing my fingers hoping that the Dark Souls 3 mutant can't fit through the door. I missed, but I still won, so did I really miss? Did I? There's a fancy square British bullpup back here so I can ditch every other weapon in my inventory because I've yet to find a downside to assault rifles over shotguns, SMGs, pistols, knives. Use the door code, get the document room. which is full of giant abortions, and then once I've picked up the piece of paper I came from, the door's locked behind me. Well, I say doors, the one door, and there's constant fire bursts from all directions. Naturally, I assume it's the massive green jar fetuses, and start mag dumping into them. Then after that does nothing, I shoot the glowing fire burst orb thing that's probably just a figment of my imagination, and after cycling between them eventually something dies, and then it immediately knocks me out and sends me to the cutscene realm. Post weird cutscene, the military predictably raid the lab and I have to fight my way back up, which is relatively easy except for the Agent 47s hiding in the corners of various rooms waiting to gank me. The only real information I got is a Jamie Oliver guide on how to roast brains. Back to Babytown to talk to Gordo. He gives me 1,000 rubles to nose you on the documents, then asks me to sneak in and get some... you guessed it. Documents. From the military outpost up the road. Sneak in at night, there's only 2 guards, yada yada, blah 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 blah. Broad daylight, 40 dead troops. Nice, clean operation. Back to the actual work now. I'll recap what I learned from Big Boris the Bar Boy. Nobody can progress any deeper into the zone than this area here, because of something called the Brain Scorcher. Anyone who comes near either joins a cult, dies, or worst of all, becomes an Oblivion NPC. Those documents I got from Ghost Island apparently showed that the Brain Scorcher is man-made and identifies some scientists who may be able to help me find out how to disable it. So time to go see some fucking nerds. Better buy some heavy armor first though, because I've got too much money and I don't know what to do with it. Next is the wild territory, where I find some wild things, mercenaries. Mercenaries are just the military, but they're edgier like the bandits. You know, they talk like the bad guys in a gang musical. They're pathetically easy to kill, but they got nice rifles. A few steps up the road, I find a group of scientists who somehow know I'm coming, who beg me to save them from the big bad mercs.
That's it, you egghead moron. Either you give me the results, or you leave this place in a body bag.
God, it really is a fucking musical, isn't it? There's about 2 scientists left, so I realise if I'm even a little bit too slow, the 300 mercs will immediately execute both of them. And this game definitely doesn't pull punches when it comes to NPC death. Case in point. When I try and escort the lead scientist out, he gets one-tapped. Eventually we make it through the city and come across my first Oblivion NPCs. They wander aimlessly like a group of pissed welders on a Friday morning, shooting at you with one hand while scratching their balls with the other. The scientist turns out to be a weird biologist, he's obsessed with mutants or something, I don't really care, give me a laser please. He invites me for a slumber party in their comically polluted evil science lair, where I meet the ecologist King, who wants measurements taken. I head outside with Mr. Slow, kill a bunch of zombies, really easy stuff. The only interesting thing that happened the whole mission is I found an artifact which basically gives me infinite running in exchange for instant painful death if I put a fork in a plug socket. So that removes sort of 1 out of 2 of my hobbies, but you know, it's a no-brainer for instant running. You get it? A no-brainer. Like zombies? Like, yeah, you get it. Sheldon hands over a Wii Fit headband which will apparently protect me from radiation brain wavy doodah. It's time for Bunker Laboratory number 30. I'm so fucking mad. I declare that I will never use fucking baby winky guns ever again. Through the snorks and into the underground zombie bay. Zombies are easy peasy, there's just a million of them. I get trolled by some fucking Muhammad Ali snork in the basement that I eventually just end up throwing half a dozen grenades at, and it still doesn't die. Take almost 10 minutes to solve a puzzle, which literally consists of walk up some stairs, press a button, walk up some more stairs, press a button. And I just can't figure it out somehow. I kept going up and down, right to the top, and trying to press the button up there. Do I need an MRI? Cutscene, orb, and then I just make my way out the back. I gave my pistol another chance, because I am a fool. Never again. How do you get here, sweetie? Pumpkin? I'm not fighting that asshole, it's a trick. I'm headed right out the opposite side. Out the chimney, back to the science zone. Nice of you to not wait for me to leave before you called in the extremely hostile military attack helicopters, you tit. Why not just leave it? I was fine on my own. At least I can sell them 15,000 rubles worth of meatballs before I leave for the mountains. Back through the wild country, through the bullshit mercenary snipers that have now set up on every rooftop, find a desert eagle in a tunnel which does not change my opinion on stupid baby moron handguns, And then I have to reload a save because, see these guys, see from a distance, what do they look like to you? Military? Baddies? Baddies I've been shooting all day? No, they're duty, as I found out after I'd killed them all. Should be fine, right? Nobody saw me, no witnesses. Easy and very forgivable mistake. No. Between turning back time and killing the entire bar and having to do everything alone from now on, I chose the cowardly option. Now it turns out there's actually a little faction war going on, not that anyone really mentions it up until this point. Duty, who are the autocratic and strict, but not really, they're actually kind of relaxed military guys who run the bar, and their rivals, Freedom. Now, Freedom is another faction, which is all about peace and love and anarchy and napalm. Duty talks about them like they're a strong rival, and in my head I'm picturing a bizarro world version of the bar where the bartender has a mohawk and they tell you stories of the atrocities Duty has committed in the name of order. Get ready to be fucking disappointed. I was on the fence about the Duty missions I had, which were to steal a grenade launcher and give it to Duty's resident Colonel Gaddafi, and to kill a sniper for a reckless Duty party that wanted to assault the Freedom base head on. So I went into the military warehouses to the Freedom base. It was just a hippie commune. Everyone wanted me to give them vodka. They basically just squatted in tents in burnt out buildings, so my mind was made up. After my silent assassin S-rank hit operation, I head back to the Duty scout party, but they're unalive. Main crew's just lying around, rest of them are having a Boy Scout meeting, not even paying attention. I don't get it. Investigation reveals that apparently as soon as you accept the sniper assassination mission, the sniper starts shooting at the Duty guys from 2 miles away and kills all the mission critical ones. That is sufficiently stupid enough for me to just quickly finish up the other mission and move on. I'm not messing with the Fisher-Price gang war anymore. On to Red Forest. So Red Forest is just a massively long road, entirely covered in cultists in super armor with machine guns, and the occasional ghost and snipers. Took a long time, is what I'm saying. It took a long fucking time to get through them, to their base, and presumably a tunnel to the Brain Wobbler. Not that I found that out the first time, because once I crossed a certain point, my brain started wobbling. I crossed the wobbling point, quick saved, right as I was crossing, sort of semi-accidentally, and then backed off over the wobbling point. And then my brain wouldn't stop wobbling until I died. So I reloaded the save, and my brain wouldn't stop wobbling. No matter what I did, that save was permanently fucked. I even used all my healing items, ran right back to the military warehouses, and I was still getting wobbled. Literally soft-locked my entire game. I've never been angry in my entire life. Everything was quick saves up until this point, so I've just been quick saving over the quick save. So I had to go back to the autosave at the start of Red Forest. So 2 trips through the Mega Cultist meat grinder later, I get into the Brain Cruncher, where again it's cultists and cultists and more cultists, because apparently their brains are all in a different bunker so they can't be mulched. Turn off the brain emulsifier, leave the bunker, immediately get a radio call. 50 helicopters overhead, gunfire everywhere. It's been 5 minutes. How do they know it's off? Everyone in Ukraine's mobilized to head for Chernobyl. I haven't told anybody yet. Well, no turning back now if I want to make it to Chernobyl, and let me give you a bit of background as to why everyone wants to get to the power plant. According to the bartender, who's the only NPC in the entire game whose dialogue I read, the nuclear power plant holds a secret magical contraption called the Wish Granter, which, funnily enough, grants wishes. So because everyone still believes in Santa and the Tooth Fairy, they're all rushing to certain death in the middle of a nuclear power plant famous for its meltdown crisis and extreme radiation levels. I mean, I'm among them. But what the choice do I have? It's peer pressure. And I'm a peer. Straight to Pripyat, no extra prep in case someone gets there before me. Apparently there's some veterans waiting for me. Veterans of what? I don't know. Could be tapestry weaving. I get to Aberdeen. I meet up with the X-Men in their super suits. Then, as all tactically gifted soldiers do, we walk through the open street with as many tall buildings on either side as possible. Nobody will suspect a thing. So the name of the game now is picking off roof goblins before they kill my little group of friends and me, which we can't do anything about because we're funneled between 2 skyscrapers. We get through that section, and then I get ganked hard in the underground car park, but luckily my spacesuit has the sickest night vision known to man, so I'm living, I'm good. As soon as I resurface, I found out the latest funny clown news. The Monolith have Quake-free railguns. The Monolith, if it isn't clear, are the cultist dickheads. So the mission goes from plow through everything in my path to survive. Running from shelter to shelter, getting blasted by dudes with literal 2068 weaponry that I can't hit because there's no way in hell the weapon inaccuracy will let me catch a break at 200 meters. The only saving grace is that the AS Vial and armor piercing ammo some of them carry is just completely broken. Chunky iron sights suck though. Then I come alone to the football stadium. Shit myself, but it just teleports me straight past it, so I guess I win. I guess I just breezed through it. Unfortunately, instead, I'm now on the bridge to hell. Not really any better. There's too many here for me to reasonably deal with, but I've come too far and I'm too impatient and lazy to turn back now. I don't think a lot of these resistance artifacts are worth it because they cause radiation over time, which means I either need to equip anti-radiation artifacts for every radiation artifact I've got, or eat radiation pills every 30 seconds. In exchange, you get 2% less bullet damage taken. Whoa, that's amazing. What am I supposed to do? Stack them to get 10% bullet damage reduction? How would I manage that anyway? I'd have radiation poisoning like I'd been eating ice cream off the demon core. Bullshit helicopters are the worst part, given the lack of cover. But eventually, hugging the wall, throwing tons of grenades, and clearing out the big doorway that's open for some reason, gets me into the power plant. Now, onto the horror game segment, but not for me. I immediately acquire one of their laser guns, and then collect a metric fuck ton of armor splitting ammo for the AS Vial, which is silenced, and the entire place is dark. So I would just go around a corner, delete all the monolith guys, rinse and repeat for the whole power plant. Easiest thing of my life. I even find one of the X-Men super suits, which makes me very slow, but basically completely impervious to damage, and I can carry as much as I want. There's a big unopenable door. It's probably important in some way, but too late now. Finally, the nuclear room. This is where they store all the nuclear. And a giant glowing member. You can't not touch that, can you? I think that's an acceptable thing to admit. I think it's acceptable to admit I would rub my hands up and down that glowing member in a normal way.
I want to be rich.
Really? Really? That's the most Eastern European ending I have ever seen. You give in to capitalist decadence and get crushed by might of proletariat concrete. This is blessing for you. You no longer have to live in terrible world with terrible grey iron. There's definitely better endings than that, probably achieved by not speedrunning the game really shoddily and doing the entire run from Red Forest to Chernobyl in less than an hour. But that's for another day. I don't normally bother with this dumb shit, but if you've made it this far and you haven't actually pressed the big giant red button down there, not down there, I'm not being provocative. Why are you here? How did you get here? Do I amuse you? Really though, this did take me a long time, so I appreciate any form of boost, as it were.